end up in the middle of the junction.
Good morning, welcome back to On The Road Adventure, and today it's another day of adventure. Recently we've been riding different bikes, including some scooters. So while in Thailand we thought we'd try things that are not available in Europe.
Now everybody is riding around on scooters here, and we usually ride adventure bikes, but big adventure bikes just aren't suitable here in Thailand. So we have the world's smallest adventure bikes. Not one, we got two.
Oh.
This is Honda's famous CT125 trail bike, possibly one of the most well-known small adventure bikes available probably around the globe. Well, I say available around the globe. Unfortunately, this is not available in the UK, and we have all been swooning after it for some time now. And being that we're here, we got the opportunity to ride one, and we cannot wait to jump on this. But wait, what's this? This is Yamaha's effort. This is the Yamaha PG-1. It is a very similar looking bike and style to the famous Honda CT125. This one is about the same sort of power, slightly smaller wheels. There's a few differences, and we're going to go over these two bikes and we're going to put them to the test over the next week or so. And yeah, we're going to see what all the fuss is about on the world's smallest adventure bikes. So we just took these from a hire place, and Eva rode the Yamaha PG1. I took the CT125. What's your first impression?
I need more time to get my head around the gears.
We both do, yeah. So these bikes both come with a semi-automatic gearbox, which means that there is no clutch. That's enough to mess with a biker's head right away in the first place. But strange things are going on with these gearboxes, and we need a little time to figure out what's going on, and we'll talk you through each one and why they're different. Alright, a very strange experience getting on board the CT125, mainly because there's no clutch, and yeah, years and years and years of muscle memory gets you to grab that. So we are currently in Chiang Mai, and we are heading towards Chiang Rai. Well, first of all, we will be going through a national park, but we've got to get used to these bikes as we ride through Chiang Mai city. An interesting gear setup with these, we've both found they're both slightly different. And this is my first experience with a heel situation for changing gear. Personally, I'm going to completely ignore that and try to go up and down the front like a normal bike.
From neutral down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if I click down again, I'm going to neutral. I don't know how's that gonna work while riding. I don't want to be testing it here in the city.
So Eva's gearbox goes in a complete loop. It doesn't finish at any point. She can just keep going through. But luckily neutral is between fourth and first, so you shouldn't be able to go between four straight into first, which will be very problematic. Well, first go on the main road. This one's gone straight up to 95 kilometers an hour with no problem at all. I have to say, this is much better than the scooters we've been riding for the last few days around Thailand, or a few weeks. Whole new world, sat upright, comfortable. I don't feel like I'm just riding a silly little bike anymore. And this thing's got so much more go. And really nice plush suspension and a plush seat. I reckon we're going to get on alright with the CT125. We are both flat out. I'm still gaining 94, 95. Eva's little Yamaha, look at that. She's passing me. I think Eva's definitely got it on the probably the top speed and overall power. Having said that, there are very slight differences in the specs between these engines. Eva's bike is considerably lighter than the CT125, and not only because I'm sat on the CT125, so that might explain the speed difference. I've been riding the CT125 for about an hour or so now, something like that, and once you get used to the clutchless shifting, although that's technically not right, of course the CT125 does have a clutch, but it's built in, you don't need to worry about that as a rider. But the bike itself feels very capable. I mean, we've been on this sort of twin lane road. It keeps up with traffic, no problem. It feels like there's plenty of power there. Top speed of about 100 kilometers an hour if you really push it. But of course, you do lose a bit of speed as you you know, hit any bigger hills and things. Comfort's pretty good. I'm loving the big wide bars. I wish the foot pegs were a little bit further forward for me, or I could sit further back, and there is a reason I can't do that. What we'll do is we'll stop shortly and we'll have a look over the two bikes, and I'll show you what I've discovered so far and our first impressions. Found ourselves a little services oasis here. Let's get ourselves in the shade, shall we?
Hope there is some good coffee in here. I just rode the PG1 Yamaha here, and that's good over an hour ride, and I have to say I'm tired, I'm aching. I don't know whether it's just the change, maybe the bike not being sort of customized to myself, but I don't find it the most comfortable. The ride itself is good, but maybe I need to swap with Rich for the CT125 and see how does that compare. I have to say the bikes present themselves beautifully, both of them. They're just so unique and different.
So I'm going to go over both the bikes here now. They're both very similar. They have some slight differences. Both are one cylinder, 4-stroke, 2-valve engines. Very slight differences between them. But let's go over the bikes and we'll play spot the difference. Eva so far has been riding the Yamaha PG1, which comes in at a massive 114 cc's. And this, in bright yellow, is the Honda CT125. And this one is a bit more true to its name. This one is 124.9 cc's. The difference in horsepower, well, there's almost none, to be honest. The Yamaha is 8.8 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. The CT125 is 8.7 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. When it comes to torque though, once again, the Honda has it at 11 Newton meters at 4,500 RPM. The Yamaha has only 9.4 Newton meters of torque. Both of the bikes are chain driven, 4-speed, semi-automatic, automatic clutch on these. Now both the Honda CT125 and the Yamaha PG1 have single-sided exhausts, but as you can see, the Honda comes up quite high on the exhaust and the PG1 much lower, and I think that the Honda one may be a bit more of an issue if you were going to carry a pillion, but you definitely need the heat shield in order to not burn your luggage if you had any side panniers on that one. Both of these little beauties, obviously fuel injected. The Honda has a 5.3 litre fuel tank and the Yamaha PG1 has a 5.1 litre fuel tank. Now height wise there doesn't look to be much in it, but actually I think probably because of the shape of the seat, the CT125 feels much bigger. It's 800mm seat height on the Honda, but yeah, it definitely feels a lot taller because of the thickness, the width of the seat compared to the PG. Now where the Yamaha comes into its own is actually ground clearance. The Honda's got 165mm, but the Yamaha's 190mm. It doesn't have a bash plate underneath though to protect that exhaust. You probably want that if you were going to do any kind of trails. Got to protect that exhaust and engine. When it comes to curb weight, the Honda CT125 is a little bit heavier. This one's 120 kilos. The Yamaha does have less varcals on it though, and more plastic than metal, and this one comes in at 107 kilos. Both bikes have telescopic forks and twin shocks on the rear, but the Yamaha does have adjustable preload, and both bikes have a single disc up front. Things are a little bit different on the rear brake though. The Honda CT125 has a Nissan single pot disc brake on the rear, but the Yamaha's only got a drum brake. The CT125 does have 17-inch wheels running a slightly skinnier tyre compared to the Yamaha. These are 80, 90, 17. But the Yamaha is running 90, 100, 16-inch wheels, so slightly smaller than the Honda. We do have a nice digital dash here on the Honda CT125, although it could be a bit brighter, but we are in Thailand and it is very sunny. Whereas the Yamaha does have a more old-fashioned analog style, but it does have a gear indicator, which is very useful, especially when you're getting used to this gearbox. Now both our bikes have a few little extras on it for travelling. Both have a USB socket, which is very nice, and both have a luggage box fitted, which makes life a lot easier. So this is the seat setup on the Honda CT125. Really nice, big, thick plush seat. But as I was riding earlier on, I felt that I wanted to move further back for myself, and I'm only 5'7". And the problem comes with this bar in between. Such a shame, because I want to sit here to be comfortable, and that bar is right in the way. So I mean, if it was mine, if I owned it, you know, I would definitely do something about that. But there's bags of room for a pillion here, or another huge bag you could put on there. You get a 70-litre bag, strap it down to this plate. Perfect for travelling. You get loads of stuff on here. Top box as well. We've got another rack down here on the front. And something else that I noticed is on this one, this is good sturdy metal, which means you could probably get another rack here and, you know, get something small there if you needed to. These really are a mini adventure bike, a little traveller's friend. Now on the Yamaha PG125, we do have a much longer, thinner seat. It does feel much harder than the Honda. And yeah, Eva's only been riding it an hour or so and says it isn't very comfortable. So we're going to have a bit of a switch up in a minute and we'll see how they compare. Again, top box and rack fitted to this one. There isn't anything fitted here. I'm sure you could fit something if you wanted to. I'm sure both bikes have endless accessories to it. But this mudguard, this one is plastic, so you couldn't put any weight on that. It wouldn't bear it very well. Both bikes, very cool in my opinion. They don't cost very much either. Here in Thailand, you can buy the Honda for about 2 grand in UK money, GBP, which is an absolute bargain. If you could buy that in the UK for 2 grand, you'd be very happy. And you know, the fuel economy is just ridiculous on these bikes. You can go a long way, and I reported about 200 miles on the tank on this. So, you know, that's very impressive, isn't it? Right, proof's in the pudding though. We're going to take these, do some miles on them. We're going to ride them for about a week or so. So, you know, stick with us. We'll go for a good tour. We're going to carry on up towards Chiang Rai now and see what these little bikes are all about, and are they really capable adventure bikes. We've swapped bikes this time now. Eva was not enjoying the seat on our Yamaha, and I have to say that bar for me in between the rider seat and the pillion seat was a problem for me. So it'll be interesting to see if we fall in love with each other's bikes now.
Don't know, it could be the case, it could be not, who knows.
Well, let's take them for a spin and see. But today we are going to answer CT125 or Yamaha PG1, which is better?
Okay, so how does it work in here? Is it the same? So if you do an up, that's reducing the gear, that's putting in gear. Yeah, is that the same as this? Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you ready?
Adjusted your mirrors?
Yeah.
Do you notice any difference? Right away, I can see there's a huge difference in the quality of the mirrors, in the reflection, if you know what I mean. You know when you look in a mirror and it's slightly distorted, that's what's going on here with the Yamaha compared to the Honda. I noticed that immediately. The Honda's mirrors are definitely better.
I can hear your top box flapping. Did you lock it?
I think so. I do have a squeak of some sort. Oh, I just went from 1st to 4th gear on this one, and that's because your muscle memory tells you clicking 1st, clicking up into 2nd. But of course the gearbox is the wrong way around. But despite not having very much power, it is amazing. You can put this thing straight into 4th almost from the start, and it will go. You are away. I have to say, considering how little power these bikes have on paper, they go very well. So right away I am noticing that the seat does not feel as plush on the Yamaha. It's definitely a harder seat, but I would say for me the riding position is better. My legs feel at a much better angle now because I'm sat a little bit further back. What's your thoughts, Eva?
I can straight away say that I like this CT Honda more than the Yamaha PG1, but it's too early to say. The only thing that bothers me on this bike is that I cannot see what gear I'm in, and because it's the other way around, it's sort of difficult to kind of know. So just have to remember, I guess, and just go by the feeling. Not sure why I prefer the Honda, but I think it's because it's taller and just feels a little bit more comfortable to sit. Maybe it's the seat, maybe it's the handlebars that are taller. I'm not sure. I need to ride a bit more on this one to make up my mind.
We're sat waiting at the lights, first gear. Let's see how this works out. Don't go until it's green though. Go. Oh, you got blinding start. Oh no. Oh, second. Yeah, the Yamaha is gaining. It's gaining. Look at that. Alright, so we were racing earlier on the bikes, and Eva was beating me on the Yamaha, and now I'm on the Yamaha and I beat her on the Honda as well. So definitely off the mark, we think that the Yamaha is slightly got it, it's slightly faster. There are not massive amounts in it, but if you and your mates got one, obviously you're going to race because that's what we do. The Yamaha's going to get it. I am really enjoying my ride on this little Yamaha PG1. Now me and Eva have swapped bikes, and for me, I find this one actually more comfortable in its position, but the seat itself is definitely very hard. I will be on the lookout for a cushion or a pillow of some sort. But this bike here in Thailand is something like £600 cheaper than the Honda CT125, and they're both so close in the way of spec and looks and things. I think I would be very, very tempted to actually, if I was going to purchase one here, you know, the Yamaha for the, you know, it's nearly a quarter of the purchase price in savings. But the problem with that is that you'll always be that bloke who rides one of those bikes that's like the Honda CT125. The Honda has that prestige, that reputation, that coolness, that sex appeal. This one's just as good, but it's not the Honda CT125, is it?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's, I don't know too much of the history, but I'm assuming the Yamaha is just a response to the CT125. So CT125 was first, and I think people make both of them look really, really good. If you have a look on Instagram, you will find a lot of people in Japan and Thailand modifying both of those bikes, and they're doing an amazing job. So they both cool, but I do think Honda's cooler.
It's no secret, I really love a custom bike. I love to have something that's different that other people don't have. And look. The Honda nearly done me there, I was caught sleeping. I love to have a bike that is different to everybody else, and the fact that you can customize these and get all excited about your new parts or your new rack or, you know, a decal kit or something. I love that about a motorcycle. I also do know, especially for the mighty Honda CT125 there, you can buy engine kits which will allow you to squeeze a few more horses out of these. I believe there's a 160 kit for the CT125, and I'd definitely go about that. I'm sure you ruin your fuel economy, but it's all about smiles per mile on these, and these little bikes, they deliver in a big way. I am grinning from ear to ear at the minute, I have to say. I really love it. I think I'm a proper motorcycle addict though. You put me on any bike and I'm always going to love it. Every bike has its own characteristics and reasons to love it. Now on paper the suspension is very, very similar between the, you know, the styles and setup of them, but both me and Eva have noticed that the Yamaha feels very firm and planted, The Honda, on the other hand, feels very spongy and wallowy, so if you upset it when you go around corners, if you hit some big bumps, it will sort of bounce you around all over the place. You've got to be a little bit careful with that. Whereas the Yamaha, you feel the bump a little bit more, but it's more stable. It stays tracked on where you're pointing it. I think the Yamaha has the suspension set up better for the road, and I reckon if you were going to use it for trails, which it's designed for, the Honda is going to be better off-road.
Yeah, I think I like that. I like that a lot more on the Yamaha.
Traffic slowed right down now. Looks like we're going through some sort of checkpoint here. Maybe we're entering the Chiang Mai, maybe we're entering the Chiang Rai district. I've no idea. Police checkpoint. We have been through a lot of checkpoints. Oh, first to fourth again. That old muscle memory of clicking up for a gear. It goes the wrong way on here, but the bike doesn't let you down. He keeps going. He goes, I know you made a mistake, Rich. Don't worry about it. I got you. We're all right. So yeah, we've passed through a lot of checkpoints here going through Thailand. We're not always sure what they're for, but we've never been stopped yet, and that might have something to do with having 2 GoPros strapped to the front of our helmets. Well, we've arrived at our hotel for the evening now. We've done about 130 kilometres on these, and as I say, we got them for a week, so we plan to do a good few miles on these. But this is the first impressions of what we thought of the Honda CT125 Yamaha PG1. But first of all, you have to admit, they look damn cool. Okay, so we set off the day today with the 2 different bikes with the question in mind, which is better? What do you think?
Yeah, so we each rode both of the bikes today. I don't know. The choice is so tough. There's different things that I like on the Yamaha PG1 and different things I like on the Honda CT125. I really don't know how to answer that question.
It's a toughie. I have to say, it is a toughie.
It is very, very difficult.
For me, I have to say, first of all, I would absolutely love either one. I think they're just so cool. The Yamaha is about £600 cheaper. That's a big saving here in Thailand, and that might sway a decision. But as I said earlier on, for me, I think I would always feel like I'm that guy who has the bike that's like the Honda CT125.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And build quality, Honda could be better.
It's gonna be, it always is.
About Honda, I think the side stand could be better and a little bit longer. It's very wobbly and unsteady.
Very good point, yeah.
And it's very easy to tip the bike over if you park it wrong.
Hold that thought, I'm going to show you this. So we can see the Honda's on its side stand there, and the side stand is very short. And with very little effort or a slight camber, this one comes up. I mean, we're talking very little effort. So you could knock this over very easily. Yamaha, on the other hand, is standing more upright, and that feels a lot more planted and stable on the side stand. Tipping this over accidentally would be a very real concern. It would be very easy to do that. On the flip side, these are tube tyres, and so that would make taking the wheel off and changing the tyre very easy, so there is that. Both bikes do come with a centre stand. So a very valid point there that Eva pointed out about the side stand, and yeah, that is a bit of a concern. I don't know what can be done about that. There is a catalogue of aftermarket parts for this bike, and as you mentioned earlier, if you look on social media, there's some really cool examples of these.
Another thing that is the major difference between them is that on the Yamaha you can see which gear you are in at the moment.
Very helpful.
And on a Honda you cannot know that. You just need to feel it. It's quite easy to like sort of feel it, but
if you just jump on it, you do notice that.
But just knowing it, which gear I'm in, having that indication that it's very, very helpful and reassuring.
Well, let us know in the comments your thoughts on both bikes, and let us know, because we're curious, we are torn, we would struggle. Which one is better in your opinion? Which one would you buy?
Which one would you go for? And would you even consider one?
Yeah,
because I think this is a great bike to have as your second, third bike as a collection. Somewhere there in your garage, maybe not for every single day use, but it's definitely a fun bike once you master the semi-automatic gearbox.
I would definitely have one.
Yeah.
Until next time, Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.